you said there might not be a new. You're not sure if you'll write another book.
I'm not sure. There might not be another book.
Yeah, there's one other thing that people, or that I'm experiencing now. After you write a first book, people will expect, well, now you're a writer, so that means there will be more books. When maybe sometimes people will write a book, and that's the story they wanted to tell. And after that, you sort of come in a position where, well, you're a writer now, so that means you have to write a book every 2-3 years.
Where are these rules coming from? Where are these rules coming from?
I'm not saying that. Yeah.
Who made up this idea that this has to be the way it has to be? I don't agree with that at all. I think there are some writers who have one book in them, and they write it, and it's great, terrific. Move on to something else. Sell real estate. You know, open a dry cleaning business. You know. And then there are other writers who feel that they are career writers, and they have to put out a book every year, regardless of the quality of that book. There are no rules for writing, and it's. I've never, again, as we talked about before, I never felt like any pressure to follow up on the success of my first novel, or to outdo American Psycho, or to, capitalize on the emotionalism that's at the end of Lunar Park, where everyone said, "Oh, a new Bret Easton Ellis emerges at the end of Lunar Park." Well, I guess I did while I was working on Lunar Park, but then boom, I go into this kind of brutal minimalism of Imperial Bedrooms. So, there's not really a logic or a game plan to a career or to writing novels. And so I'm always amused when I hear people trying to gauge their career, how their career in the world of letters is going to be, and the rules they must follow, and the books they must write. It just doesn't work that way. I just don't see that. You being a true writer, if you're listening to these people who say, well, your book is not good if it's not this, or this. I don't know, what does that mean?
Yeah, well, sometimes I think I'll see other writers where their first book is that's their story that they wanted to tell, and then it can become or the way they see it, I have to write, or I have a family, I have a house, so now I have to.
Yeah, that's true.
And then
but then you should. But you know what? If you're in that position, then write crime fiction, write detective novels, write procedurals. I mean, I think we're talking about two kind of different things. There are, James Patterson is James Patterson, and he writes a certain kind of novel, and probably I've never read one, but I assume probably does it well. And it's not that he has, corrections in him or something. He's writing the books that he wants to write, and they're very, very successful. But yeah, I get what you're saying in terms of, you have a family to support, you've got a mortgage, you've got kids in school, so you need to put that novel out. But I really don't know, does that work anymore? In the economics of book publishing now, can you say, hey, I'm going to write up this book, can you give me my advance so I can feed my family? I don't think that's happening in the United States. I know advances have been slashed in half because of the economy, and I don't think that's the smartest way to go about making money.
No,
I just don't think it is. It's really not.
No, it's not like if you're a kid growing up thinking I want to make money. That it's not book writing. It's not what you're gonna. If money is the most important thing, you'll do something else.
Yeah, no, it's not. I just got an email from a friend who had just graduated college about 5 years ago, and was now. He was working in politics, and he said, this is ridiculous. Politics is no way to make money. And he'd also written a novel, didn't go anywhere, didn't make any money, and then he asked me, well, I want to get into movies. I want to get into screenwriting. I think I want to make some money that way. And I had to tell him, that's over too, baby. That's all in the empire. Empire, it's gone. We're in the post-empire world. Find a new way to make money. Don't rely on your, write screenplays if you want to, write novels if you want to, but don't write novels with the idea that you're going to make a lot of money off them. That is a crucial mistake. There might have been a point in the empire where that was possible, where you could make a living off writing novels, but we're in a different world now, and we're in a transitional place.
So the empire, you mean the United States?
The American empire, yes.
But the way it used to be before 9/11, or
I think 9/11 was the beginning of the decline. That was the event that really defined the decline. And I think for about 4, 5, 6 years, we tried to keep it going. And then I think it officially ended with the election of Obama. And we are completely in a post-Empire state of mind.
So why was the Obama so crucial?
Well, the economy. I mean, just the overall economy, the collapse of the luxury decades of the U.S. ended officially with the election of Obama.
Okay.
At least that's just my opinion. I mean, I'm not trying to this is just my little joke.
Okay.
This is what I like to tweet about.
Okay.
Empire, post-empire.
Why does it take you so long?
I don't know. I'm so slow. I'm so slow. And I also just, when I get an idea for a book, I think about it for a long time because I want to make sure I want to write the book. I don't ever want to be in that position that some writers get into when they just start a book and they just want to see where it's going to go. Right. And they get to page 150 and they go, oh no, what am I doing? I don't like this book. Yeah. So I pretty much think out a book for a year, maybe even 2 years. Just really think about it. Think about how I want to do it. How am I going to write it? Who's the narrator? I make a lot of notes. And then that really takes up the bulk of the writing. When I look at the actual writing of the novel compared to all the notes and the outlines that I do, it's not that long. But the prep work, I guess, is what takes a long time. And also, once I'm in a novel, you know, I like being transported by the novel I'm working on. I like it. I like fussing around with it. Right. You know, Imperial Bedrooms is a very, very short book, the shortest book that I've published. Yeah. And you know, I fooled around with it for about 3 years. You know, I mean, I was working on other projects at the time, but it was always there at my desk or on my computer, whatever. And I was always going to it and just, you know, looking at paragraphs and rearranging sentences and wondering, oh, could I put a conjunction here? Can I put and? I want this more of a run-on sentence. I want this to look this way. How can I make this shorter? I want this to be shorter. And so I would look over a paragraph and go, can you do this with less words? Because I wanted the book to be super minimal and very, very bare bones. And then I even do practice sessions on the narrator's voice. What's he going to notice? What's he not going to notice? How's he going to tell this story? Obviously, Clay in Imperial Bedrooms is going to tell, his novel is going to be very, very different from a character like Victor Ward with Glamorama, or Patrick Bateman in American Psycho, or the Bret Easton Ellis of Lunar Park. So, yeah, once I kind of figure out who this narrator is, then I realize how he's going to narrate the novel. And then by that time, I have, because of who the narrator is, figured out what the storyline for this narrator is. If this is the narrator, then what's his story? Oh, okay, this is his story, and this is where it's going to go. And, okay, it's going to end here. Got it. And so I'm pretty much, by the time I'm actually the technician and I'm working on the novel, I pretty much have it all down. And I like being transported by the work. So you mentioned writer's block. That's kind of why I don't have writer's block, because I already have everything down and in place, and I'm excited by it, and I want to write it. So, yeah.
The writing itself, I have a feeling that, or with the last book, the actual, like the technique of the actual writing, the sentences, you've gotten better with like making your own style more perfect, or I don't know if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, I guess so. Yes, my style is now perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect style.
No, but it's like some writers will, maybe their first works are when they really tell the stories that they want to tell, and then after that, it's not as strong as in the beginning. But with you, it seems that it just, like doing it for so long makes the technique better.
You know, I don't know what it is. I mean, I think part of it has to do with the desire to write. That I still have a strong desire to write, when maybe a lot of people only had 1 or 2 novels to tell their stories or whatever. I think part of I really had to write Imperial Bedrooms. I mean, it was an incredibly important book for me to write. I needed to write my way out of the pain I was in during that particular part of my life. And writing Imperial Bedrooms actually saved me in a way. I mean, that sounds very dramatic, but it saved me and it moved me out of a very painful couple of years. And working on that book helped a lot. And it was an exorcism. It made me understand a lot of things about myself and about the pain that I was in at the time. And that might be why there's a certain kind of clarity or sense of purpose to it that, that I've always had in my work. And, people look at, my detractors look at Glamorama and think it's very unwieldy and crazy and dreamlike and sloppy. That's the book that I worked on the longest and most carefully, and I will never be able to put that much energy into a book again. That will never happen. That happened when I was in my 30s. That's the longest book I've ever written, and it's the one that took the longest to write, and it was the one that I most concentrated on, and the one that I feel is, my best book.
Really?
But yeah, but I think that, and that definitely reflected where I was at that moment in my life. So, I think it's just been, because of the way I work and because that each novel comes from an emotional place that I'm at a certain time in my life, that's why maybe the novels feel vital to other readers. I don't know. Okay. And I'm just not like hacking it out in a way. I mean, my publishers, I'm sure, would love me to hack it out in terms of just like, publishing a book every other year, like most of my peers do. You get a book out, you put the hardcover and the paperback, hardcover, or now, hardcover, paperback. That sounds so Empire. That's so Empire now. It's like, just let's put, I'm now like buying books like by pushing a button and they're appearing on my, iPad screen. So it's a different world.
Okay. Why do you feel Glamorama was your best book?
Well, I'm the writer of my book, so I have the say in this, and Glamorama is my best book.
Why do you think
I don't know why. I just feel it is. It's just the book that I like the most. That's why.
Okay.